I'm dreaming in dreams bigger than me, taking my time, giving to me, paint my life into a masterpiece, coloring it how I want it to be. Won't stop till I see what I want to see.
This is my living room. So what I love about this room is during the day it gets a ton of sunlight. So I have a lot of plants in here, which makes it feel so fresh. And then this is Lacey. If you were actually here, she would probably be hiding. And so most people don't get to see her very often, but she is super cute. Got the blue eyes, really pretty. But this room is also really cozy and it's just got a really earthy feel to it, which I just love. I put in these shelves flanking the fireplace, one on each side, and they got a really cool design. I'll show you the decor that I have. I have so many freaking design magazines. So something that I had to do that wasn't my favorite thing, there was a leak in the gas pipe that led to the fireplace, which is obviously very scary. So I still need to get some wood glue and try to fix that baseboard and paint the wall, try to make it less noticeable. But it's all fixed and I have a working fireplace now, which I use all the time because I am always freezing and I like it really hot. So yeah. Now this has got to be the coolest chair that ever existed. I just love the detail. It came from this company called Care or Care, K-A-R-E, which I came across for the first time when I was in Japan at this like art show. And when I got home, I looked up their website and found this chair and became obsessed. I just had to have it, but it was definitely a pain to get. I thought I wasn't going to be able to get it anywhere but Germany, and I was like trying to reach out to friends who knew how to speak German, and it was just this whole big thing. Eventually, I found a vendor out of Miami. I think that's the only one in the States. And they were able to order me the chair, and it took a bit of time to get delivered, but I eventually got it and it was totally worth it because like this is so unique and special. So yes, it's like a work of art really. And this is Binks. Hi, Binksy boy. And yes, named after my favorite Halloween movie, Hocus Pocus. And then over here, I also have a fish, and his name is Neptune. I want to get real plants and make this a self-cleaning aquarium. But yeah, look how pretty he is. That's Neptune. I named him appropriately because for the longest time, he was so elusive. Like, he would always hide. He never wanted to come out. And like, even when I was feeding him, like he would just like stay hidden until I walked away and then he would go eat. Like totally 12th house, like Neptune energy. So yeah, this is my living room. So in here, I got all of these lights installed. This room didn't have any ceiling lights. And I like things to be really bright or like dim where I can set the ambiance just how I want it. So I can't do it right now because I'm using my phone to record, but I can say, hey Siri, turn the living room lights to 30% and it will automatically dim. But I can also control it from the wall switch right here. And oh hey, and what's cool is I actually made this pendant light myself. So cool story. I actually had gotten this pendant for another project, and it has this wood stem that they had sent me the wrong finish. And so they sent me a new one and allowed me to just keep this one. So I had this extra fixture, but this Moroccan star is a lantern. It's just a shade that I found from this Moroccan shop that I just fell in love with, but it didn't have a way to light it up. So I stained the wood. I don't know if you can see it, but I got these hooks and just screwed them into the wood so that I could hook the lantern chain onto it. And there you go. I made the pendant and I love it. And it makes this really pretty star on the ceiling. Isn't that cool? Oh, and I am obsessed with pillows. So this is a custom pillow that I got made. She didn't do the corners the way that I wanted, but you know, whatever. But isn't that fabric really pretty? And then this was from Restoration Hardware. I just thought that pattern worked perfect together. And then my modern leather couch, and that's got an ottoman. It becomes a sectional or just a separate ottoman. So I've actually had this living room set up a few different ways since I moved in. So yeah, but I got the leather couch because it's easier for cleaning with the pets, just better for the hair and all the shedding that comes with having a golden retriever. It's not the most comfortable couch, but it's not uncomfortable either. It's just not like one of those couches that you just melt into and never want to get up, which is probably a good thing. And then my coffee table. And then I thought this is fun. I found this like side table, and I then found this basket from Anthropology, really pretty blanket. I think it's also from Anthropology. And I thought it was like perfect to just stick under here. And, you know, this did not come like that. I found each piece separate. This I think is from West Elm. Yeah. And then I got my agate coaster. Oh, and then again, like I'm just like obsessed with pillows. Like this is literally just basically decor. But again, my custom pillow, I got, this one is really cool, that the stitching on the edge, this leather twine. And then I love the tassels and then the leather in the basket, really cool. So, you know, I've got this ottoman and that one that, you know, can be used for extra seating, like sit around the table. So yeah, let's talk. Oh, there's one more thing. I've got a story that I'm going to tell you guys about. But you see that sign? The sun? I don't know if you can see that. But I'm going to tell you about that. And trust me, you're going to want to hang with me till the end to hear this. So let's get this set up so we can chat. So in astrology, the moon is one of the key celestial bodies that holds significant influence over an individual's personality, emotions, and inner self. It represents the softer, more introspective side of human nature. The moon sign and the house placement provide insights into one's emotional nature, instincts, and subconscious mind. It influences how a person reacts emotionally to situations and how they nurture themselves and others. Mine's in Leo in the 10th house. There are so many overlapping points that I want to make with this placement, which I'll nod to throughout this video, but right now, I just want to say that Leo is a creative sign and is naturally ruled by the sun. What's fascinating to note here is that the moon naturally rules the sign Cancer and the 4th house, representing home and family, which is opposite of the 10th house. The 10th house is naturally ruled by Capricorn, which happens to be my natal sun placement. But the duh factor here is I use my creativity to design homes for a living. That's the most obvious, right? But whoa, there is so much more than just that. It's wild. At least I think so. So let me just tell you what's typical for a Leo moon in the 10th house, as if we weren't talking about me right now. So a Leo moon in the 10th house suggests that your emotional well-being is strongly connected to public recognition, career success, and your standing in the community. You are likely ambitious, seeking to express your emotions through creative and dramatic avenues. The need for appreciation and admiration may drive your professional pursuits, and you often strive for leadership roles. Your emotions are deeply intertwined with your public image, and you may find fulfillment when your achievements are recognized by others. Balancing personal desires with public expectations may be a key theme in your life as you navigate the intersection of emotions and career aspirations. It's fascinating because it is so true. My emotions are deeply tied to how I'm perceived in my career. Whether or not that's a good thing, but that's the whole point of astrology, is like it helps you look at things from a neutral perspective and use it for your advantage. Like it's all about incorporating the best characteristics and also like knowing certain tendencies to make sure that they don't get like carried away, or like it's because I am super passionate about what I do and I care. So whenever you see me expressing myself creatively or sharing something publicly, know that it's not just a presentation. It's a reflection of my emotions and a genuine part of who I am. I genuinely care a lot, or else I don't know if I could really like force myself to do it. I don't know. I just want everything to be like the best that it can be, especially for a part of your life that like so much time is put into, you know? Recognition in my professional life means a lot to me, and I've learned that positive feedback really boosts my emotional well-being. On the flip side, I feel like I can handle criticism pretty well, all things considered, because I really do appreciate feedback and like all perspectives on things, and I seek information, good or bad, so that everything is just about personal growth for me. Like I would so much rather get critical feedback that I can use constructively to improve than just have my ego be fed and like what I want to hear and not really be giving people what they want or improving on, you know, like I just really don't want to be stagnant. Like I want to make sure that what I'm doing is for a purpose and people really do appreciate it and want it, or tell me how I could help make it better. Like I just want to be helpful. So I don't know, like that's just like how I am. Anyway. So another interesting thing is that it's at 5 degrees, which is also a Leo degree. And it's a critical degree in astrology that is known to bring about sudden fame. The degrees 17 and 29 are also Leo degrees and tied to long-term fame, which my nodes of destiny, Pluto, Mars, and my MC-IC axis are all at those degrees. So I've got a lot of Leo in my chart that seems like it's like kind of hidden because it's in the degrees. They're all in different signs. Like my moon and south node are the only Leo placements that I have, but with all these other placements being in a Leo degree, it has like a Leo flavor to it. But it's also like about fame. What's funny about this is that like growing up, like I remember like being a kid and just for no reason, I just kind of felt like in my own like internal world, I was famous. Like it's like so ridiculous, but like I always felt like I was like special or different in some way. And not that like I think I'm better than anyone else or that like other people aren't special in their own ways or, you know, whatever. Like it was just like about how I felt about myself. And I always kind of had this feeling that like there were like certain things that I would think about. Like, okay, so I always have been like super insecure about my skin because I've got a lot of freckles and moles. And I remember watching TV and being like, oh, thank God, you can't really, like, it's not as clear as in person. So like maybe like people wouldn't see my freckles if like on the screen, like I would look better on the screen. And I would have like thoughts like that. Like how weird is that? I don't know. Now, obviously, like the quality is so much better and like you can't really hide behind a screen as much. But, you know, I would have like thoughts like that. I don't know. It's just so ridiculous. But at the same time, when I saw this in my birth chart, like I always thought that I was different and that like I would be famous. Like I also remember like being in school and being like, you know, I was very average, but being like, knowing like inside I wasn't average. Like it was like some secret I had that like I pretended like I was average, but I wasn't. And I just kind of like would have these ideas that like, oh, one day, like I'm going to be famous and these people are going to like see me famous and be like, whoa, I never would have like expected that. Or like, I don't know, like I just like was like, nothing bothered me because I was like, oh, like I'll get some sort of like satisfaction later on because they'll all like be like, oh, I knew her. Like, I don't know. I just, that's weird. But at the same time, I think over time, I really started to doubt that that was just like a silly dream and that wasn't me and that was some fantasy and that wasn't actually going to be my life. And I started to like come into like more of this like reality check and like kind of got used to that idea of like, okay, like maybe I am just average and that is what it is. Like I'm not special. And so then when I saw this on my birth chart and I was like, you know, I always had this feeling like I was different and I was meant for something really big and people were going to know me for it. And it kind of gave me permission to own that again. Like I never really owned it until now, really, like talking about it. Like I never would have like admitted that out loud. Like it was always like a secret thing that I thought about myself. And now I'm like saying it out loud, but like, and I'm going to be sharing this, it brings me a lot of anxiety, honestly. It confuses me how I feel about it because there's a lot of different things about it where like, I'm also scared by the idea of being famous because it puts a lot of pressure on you, a lot of like expectation and, you know, but at the same time, it's like, it also, there's like a sense of freedom with it too. And so I like go back and forth because like that freedom, like you lose privacy, but then you're like, kind of get off the hook a lot too. I don't know. Like there's just a lot of pros and cons with it. But I think when I saw it in my chart and it was something that I could like really say like, oh, this actually is a potential. It seriously made me like nervous, sick, and like really terrified by it. And I think it was because like I actually do want it. I want that. But I never really wanted to fully like say I did because like I didn't want to get hurt if it didn't happen. Like, or like it's like kind of a vain thing to want. And yeah, it's like so big that like, what if it doesn't happen? Then what? And I wanted it. And I finally said I wanted it. And then it doesn't happen. Like, it's just like, I don't know. But it's just so funny. Like, I really wanted to be on HGTV and be like a designer because I thought that like, oh, well then I can just focus on just like the pure fun creative part of it. And like, I'm also like the face of it. And so there's just like, I just get to focus on like the things I want to do. And then all the things that I don't want to do, I don't have to worry about because there's like a whole team and like there's like more money and like it's just more potential, right? There's just, I don't know. But again, like I never wanted to admit that, especially in my career. And the last job that I had, what's funny is that my boss at the time, someone confronted her with a proposal to have her company be the designers for this show and, you know, have it be like a reality TV show about her team of designers and, you know, follow us doing that. Supposedly this happened. And she was like, absolutely not. Like, I definitely don't want that. And then it made me feel like insecure that like I got excited about that idea and the fact that like she was so opposed by it. You'd be like, oh, like I thought that could be cool. Like, so I definitely didn't want to admit that like I actually think that would have been super fucking badass. So it was just kind of funny that happened. And then, I don't know, I really started to like reject this side of me and feel very like ashamed by it. So this has been an area for me that's been really hard to come around and like fully own, because it is so public yet so raw and like emotionally vulnerable, you know? Like it's just vulnerable. There's a lot of vulnerability here. Like there's security involved, like physical security, like material security, job security. Like there's just, and it's public. Like it's more known of what's going on than, you know, something that you can kind of hide in your private life. And so there's a lot of risk and there's a lot at stake, you know? And so I don't know. But I still feel like I am really meant for something big in this life, and my chart pretty much is saying that I'm like destined to be famous. So I'm gonna have to get used to that idea and really like make the most of it. And I believe I've grown so much. Like I feel comfortable with that kind of responsibility. I think that I would use that influence very responsibly and like make the most of it, where I feel like a lot of people don't really know what to do with that influence and don't use it for like the greatest good. And I feel like I'm at a point in my life that like I've done so much internal work and really know who I am now that like I could handle that and do really good things with it. So I hope that it comes. I hope that I get noticed, because I really put so much effort into what I do, and I really want it to be like appreciated and benefit as many people as it possibly can. So I really hope that I get noticed soon. So we'll see. So the moon's placement can also reveal your shadow side or your unconscious fears and insecurities that need acknowledging and integration. And like I mentioned before, although like deep down I always knew that I was meant to be famous and truly do desire that level of recognition, it also terrifies me to know that I'm actually meant to be well known, like a leader of some kind. And I do really like my hermit life and my privacy and just getting to do what I want to do without like people bothering me or like feeling like people are expecting something of me, you know? But also like deep down, I like really crave wanting to be known for the work that I do. So yeah, there's that dilemma, you know, and it's so stupid. Like it also like feels dumb to even be like having this dilemma in my head, because it seems so ridiculous, because it seems like such a far-fetched thing that like, oh, that's like never gonna happen, so like why are you even worrying about it, that kind of thing. Like who do you think you are, like that kind of thing, you know? But I don't know, you gotta believe in yourself, right? Or else it's never gonna happen. So it's like I think I'm ready to own that now. I think I'm ready to be like, yeah, that's what I want. You know, like shoot for the stars, and if it doesn't happen, like hey, at least I tried, at least I gave it my all, you know, at least I put in the effort, at least I tried. Didn't let fear hold me back, or, you know, like I won't have to regret or ever think like, what if I just tried, like what if I just started my YouTube channel, like I did it, I'm doing it, so I don't have to think that anymore, you know, like I'm not gonna give up, because I'm pretty sure something's gonna happen. We'll see. This placement perfectly describes my 2-4 archetype in human design too, which I'm not going to get into right now. I think I'll make like a separate human design reading. Like I'll share like, depending if people like this, like, you know, I can go into my like human design chart and talk more about my archetypes through that. But 2-4 archetype is it's called the hermit opportunist. So it pretty much is about liking to just focus on what brings you joy. Like hermits are typically very artistic and want to just do their craft and like just do it for themselves, you know, like just create for their own entertainment kind of thing. And then opportunist, like, is very much this Leo moon of like wanting to be seen and influential and social and, you know, have a network and always have like an opportunity, you know, very like FOMO, very much. And, you know, just like wanting to be a part of everything, wanting to experience everything. Like, yeah, that's totally me. It's also like very like 5 energy, which is like my moon degree, but also like in numerology, my life path and destiny number is the number 5. So I like went into all of this, like more about like the Leo archetype, the number 5 and all of this, like with the Leo full moon video. So if you want to know more about that, you can watch that video and you'll get more details on like Leo related topics. And I don't know, I like that video a lot. So of course I do. But we just had that full moon and it was at 5 degrees. I really wanted to put this video out for that week. But I just cannot freaking get my schedule together. Like, I'm really bad at time management. And I want everything to be so good. I care so much. And so like anything I do for work like takes me like 20 times longer than like I originally planned. Like, it just like is so ridiculous. So I'm always running behind schedule because I just am spending way more time than I probably need to be. But I just want it to be the best it possibly can. It's always late, but as long as it's not like, I can't make it so late to where it's no longer like purposeful, you know, like it still needs to be beneficial, right? So anyway, I'm a 2/4 manifester in human design, and manifestors are also known to be the lone wolf leaders. So again, like that hermit archetype, but also like leaders, and it's just the same thing kind of like said in different ways. And you could be these, you know, 2/4 and, you know, manifestors and not have Leo energy. They're not like the same thing. Like there's, you know, different flavors obviously to it, but like I find it very interesting, like how relatable they are. Like, yeah, anyway. Oh, and then also like manifestors in human design are kind of like the dying breed, they say. Like, it's very much like the kings and queens, like rulership, like very hierarchical, which is like, if you've watched any of my content, like that's not the way of the future. You know, the way of the future is all about like self-sovereignty. Like everyone is their own ruler. Like it's like very equal. It's not hierarchical. That is what we're going towards. And so, but anyway, like Leo energy is very much like royalty and that hierarchical to like leadership. And so it's just interesting how like that's what manifestors are too. So with this placement, there is a constant dance between my home life and career. Achieving emotional balance in both areas is a priority for me. Right now, I am truly living my joy, getting to work for myself, from home, by myself, on all my favorite creative projects. Like, what I want to do. It truly is the dream. But I definitely would not say I've found a work-life balance. That is for sure. Nor the recognition or fame that I'm supposedly destined for. So, yeah. Oh, one more thing before we move to the next room. And this might be the most shocking thing that I have to say today, but I'm not going to wait till the end. And this is probably like what really pushed me into making this video, was because like this is just wild. And I like want to show people that like, how ironic is this? Listen, because this truly just blows my mind. This has to be one big fucking joke the universe is playing on me. So get this. Now, the last new moon we had, just before the Aquarius new moon, was in the sign of Capricorn, which is my sun sign, remember? So the new moon happens when the sun and the moon are conjunct in the same sign at the same degree. When I was making the video about the Capricorn new moon, which happened on 1/11, the day before my birthday, literally filming for that video, I unintentionally recorded this sign being installed across the street from me. Like, what are the chances that the logo for this new daycare that's opening up across the street from my home is a sun? Again, the natural ruler of Leo. But that's not all. This happened on the Capricorn new moon 111 portal, 111 portal. And the number 1 has to do with leadership, which is the characteristic that both the signs Capricorn and Leo is strongly associated with. And what does it say? Coming soon, raising leaders of tomorrow. Like, wow, right? Oh, but that's not all. Now, if you're not amazed by this yet, then truly, what's wrong with you? At least, like, entertained by it, you know? Like, but then, you of all people must go watch the end of my Leo full moon video, which, too, is crazy that was happening right after the Capricorn moon. That 5 degrees Leo. My exact natal placement. But just when you think it couldn't get any freakier, it fucking does. Okay? These chimes started ringing without any explanation as to how. Okay, so let's go in the other room and I'm going to show you. So these chimes just started ringing without any explanation as to how. And I'm going to show you. I've got the fan on. I'm going to turn it down to top speed to show you that it won't actually chime with the wind full blowing. So it's on full speed. It'll sway a bit, but it won't actually chime. And when I was recording that video, the fan wasn't on at all, on any speed. And you could see it in the background that it was like kind of swaying, but it wasn't chiming the whole time. And a few times it like slowed down to where it wasn't moving, but there was like a few times during that video when it just started chiming. And so I pulled a card from the tarot, and you're just going to have to go watch that video. I'll put a link to it and listen to what the reading had to say, because, like, I can't make this shit up. Like, I swear. Like, it's... So, now... Ooh. So, now we're going to get all cozy in here, and we'll talk about the yoga room and my 29th degree Cancer MC.